Mock drafts are one of the best way to prepare for your fantasy football season, and today we are jumping into a 10-team PPR draft over on Sleeper. Welcome back to the kitchen here on Fat Daddy Sports. I am Craig, and today we are jumping into that draft room, that mock draft room. We will go ahead and jump right in right now. But first, let's jump on random number generator. We've got our teams here 1 through 10. We will do it 3 times as we always do just to build that suspense. So 1 time, 2 times, and the 3rd time. This is where we are picking from. We are picking from that 7 slot. So we'll jump over here into Sleeper, and you can see here we've got our 10 teams. We are in the 7 slot, and we will go ahead without much more introduction. We will jump right into it here. Let's get after it. Gibbs, Chase, Bijan, Puka, Jonathan Taylor, and Jackson Smith and Jigba all go right ahead of us. We are left with McCaffrey, St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, James Cook as the top 4 available. I've talked about this very spot quite a few times, and a lot of times I'll take Amon-Ra St. Brown here. I really like him, and I like what he brings as a floor player for you, for your squad, especially in a PPR format. What I don't necessarily like when I'm in this, 5 to 7 range is I don't really like the running backs that come back to me here. I would rather, I think, get one of those top running backs. I'm starting to have a little bit of a change of thought on this process here when I'm in that 5 to 7 range. We'll go ahead and go with Christian McCaffrey here at 107. I feel like that is quite a steal, honestly, at the 7 hole. But then after me goes Amon-Ra, CeeDee Lamb, James Cook, Justin Jefferson, Omarion Hampton, and Devon Achane. So a little bit of a run of running backs there. So the next available running back is Saquon Barkley, Ashton Genty, and Chase Brown. I think I would rather go with a wide receiver here, but let's go ahead and check it out. We've got Drake London, A.J. Brown, George Pickens, and Nico Collins all available here. We'll take a look over at the running back position. Let's take a look at the tight ends real quick. We've still got McBride, Bowers. Every tight end is still available. If you wanted to take one here, I don't think it's that crazy, but in a 10-team league, there's going to be a lot more players available. So I don't think taking Bowers and McBride really gives you a leg up here. We'll look back at the running back position. You've got Saquon, Genty, obviously has that new injury that just happened a couple days ago. Hopefully he'll be back sooner than later. They say it's a sprained ankle. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, and he'll be good to go. And then you've got Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker. Again, looking at the wide receivers, you've got London, A.J. Brown, George Pickens, Nico Collins as the top dogs. I think we're going to be able to still get good receivers here in this 3-4 range. You look at some of these guys that are a little bit lower down here, like a Malik Nabers, a Rashee Rice. They may be there available. I think I'm going to take a chance here and load up at the running back position. I would take Ashton Genty here had, the injury not occurred. But I think I'm going to go to Cincinnati and a guy that I am very, very high on this year. I'm going to go ahead and go with Chase Brown at the 204. After that goes Barkley, Genty, A.J. Brown, Drake London, Ken Walker, Trey McBride, Nico Collins, Brock Bowers, George Pickens, Josh Allen, the first quarterback off the board, and then Derrick Henry, followed by Rashee Rice right before my pick. So we are sitting here now. We'll look at Jeremiah Love, Malik Nabers, Kyron Williams, Chris Olave. We're in a pretty good spot, I believe, because I look at a guy like Malik Nabers. I've got my 2 running backs. And I look at a guy like Malik Nabers, who I believe would be going in that first round had he not gotten hurt last year. He's one of the top dogs in the NFL. And I'm okay taking him as my wide receiver. I think everything is pointing to him being healthy and ready to rock for the season. I will wait on a guy like Malik Nabers in the 3rd round, middle to late end of the 3rd round. And I'll go ahead and scoop him up as my wide receiver 1 to pair with my 2 top running backs. After Nabers goes Jackson, Olave, Jacobs, Williams, Breece Hall, and Jeremiah Love. What I will say before I go any further, there's obviously some injury concern here with my team. Christian McCaffrey, there's always that injury concern. You never know what you're going to get. If he plays 17 games, he's going to be a top 3 running back, hands down. That's the risk I'm willing to take. And then obviously Malik Nabers coming off of that injury. Will he be the same player? I think that he probably will. And even if he's not, he's still I still think he's a top 12 wide receiver, no problem. So I'm okay taking the risk on those 2 guys. And then we will go to our 4th round selection. Let's take a look at the quarterbacks that are still there. Josh Allen is obviously gone. So Drake May is still there. A little too early for me to take him there. Look over at the tight ends again. Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren, LaPorta, all too early, or I just don't feel comfortable taking them there. Look at the running backs real quick. Javonte Williams, I really like Javonte. I could see going, if you wanted to go running back heavy, he would be my pick for sure. I'm going to go with a little bit more balance of an attack in this draft, I think, just with the way that things fell to me. And really how they fell to me here at this second pick, the wide receivers. I didn't love any of them there, but I also felt like I could wait and get 2 good ones with my next 2 picks. So I went ahead and took a running back there. I think that that's a fine strategy to have. Again, you just have to see how the draft falls to you and then go from there. So we've got Malik Nabers. We're going to go ahead and pair him with a guy who I believe is going to be a wide receiver 1 this year, a guy that's maybe being slept on a little bit. He has, kind of been in the shadows for a few years, but now his longtime teammate is on to New England, and that is DeVonta Smith. I think that passing game may struggle a little bit, but when they do get it going, DeVonta Smith is going to dominate on a week in and week out basis. From there, it goes Ladd McConkey, who was my next choice. Scadaboo, Javonte Williams, McMillan, Bucky Irving, Travis Etienne Jr., T. Higgins, Zay Flowers, Jalen Waddle, Abuka, Loveland, and Devontae Adams. So we are sitting here at the 507 with a handful of good players here available to take. A guy like Tyler Warren, I like taking him there at the end of the 5th round. A guy like David Montgomery, I think, is going to get a lot of work in Houston. I'm a little worried about Woody Marks, but nothing too serious yet. Drake May, I think, is a fine choice there. But ultimately, I'm going to go with a guy who I've also talked about on this channel as somebody that I think is going to be a target hog this year. He may not score a ton of touchdowns, and his team may be god-awful, but I think he's going to get a ton of receiving work, going to get a ton of targets, and that is Garrett Wilson for the Jets. Going to load up on the wide receivers. So through 5 rounds, we've got McCaffrey, Chase Brown, Malik Nabers, DeVonta Smith, and Garrett Wilson. From there, it goes Judkins, Travion, David Montgomery, Joe Burrow, Drake May, and Tyler Warren. I was really hoping that Warren or May got back to me here in the 6th, and they would have been my pick. But we'll wait on both the tight end and the quarterback position now, because those guys were kind of the last at their position that I wanted to take. You take a look at the tight end position: LaPorta, Kraft, Fannin, and Pitts. You can get all those guys later in the draft. Look at the quarterback position: Hurts, I don't really want, even though I have DeVonta Smith, and that could be a good pair a few weeks out of the season. I'm not interested in Jalen Hurts season long. I've got Jaden Daniels, who I am really high on, but I just don't know that I want to pay that price right now. Caleb Williams, Dak Prescott, you can wait on those guys. You can get guys way down here that we've talked about extensively on this channel. We're going to come back up here, and we're going to try to shore up our running back position. And we are going to look no further than a guy who finishes consistently as an RB2 in one of the league's best offenses, should get plenty of opportunity, and that is DeAndre Swift. We will put him there as our RB3. I think that that's a fine pickup. Obviously, if anything happens to either one of these guys, he is a great plug-and-play player, could even have standalone value in my RB2 or my flex position if one of these wide receivers don't work out. Coming back to us now in the 7th round, we'll go ahead and take a look at those tight ends. LaPorta still has that question with his injury. Not really sure when he's going to be back. They're hoping for week 1, but you never really know. Look at the quarterback position. Caleb Williams is still there. Dak Prescott, who I think we can get in a couple more rounds. So I'm not going to panic on those positions yet. We'll take a look at the running back position again. Nobody here that I really love. I've been very outspoken about this range of running backs. Jalen Warren, You just don't know what you're going to get with Rico Dowdle coming to town, and just that Pittsburgh offense in general. I have no idea what to expect. New head coach Mike McCarthy obviously has the history with Rico Dowdle. I could see them leaning on him a lot more than Jalen Warren. Chuba Hubbard, I think, is just an absolute waste of a draft pick this year. Very, very high on Jonathan Brooks, but I'm not quite ready to pull the trigger on him here in the 7th. RJ Harvey, Ramondre Stevenson, Tony Pollard, and even Rico Dowdle, like I just talked about, all feel like kind of a throwaway pick. So we'll go back over to the wide receiver position. We'll look at Christian Watson as a possibility. Brian Thomas, who I think is going to come back from that rookie year that he had, was very, very stellar. I could see him having another good year in a very good offense, another year with Liam Cohen. I think they're going to draw more stuff up specifically for BTJ. And, DK Metcalf, I don't really want any part of. Marvin Harrison, I personally think he's still there and he's still going to be a stud, but a little bit of a risky pick. We are going to go. We're gonna load up that wide receiver position. We're gonna go with BTJ. We're gonna choose to look past last year as an outlier, and we're gonna say that this guy's a stud. He's a top 10 wide receiver in the league, and we'll go ahead and take BTJ. I keep saying PTJ, but it's BTJ. Brian Thomas Jr. Come back over here to the all category. Just kind of look at who is available. Dak Prescott, somebody that may or may not be available here in the 9th. We obviously still need our quarterback. We still need our tight end. I'm not really interested in Caleb Williams. I may be wrong on that, but I'm not really interested in it. I think that a guy like Herbert, I know that a guy like Lawrence will be there at my next pick, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep up with the theme of drafting the all-injured team, and I'm going to go ahead and take Sam LaPorta here. His ADP is 2 rounds ahead of where I would be taking him here. I'm going to buy that injury dip a little bit and take a tight end in one of the best offenses in the league. I think that could be a very good spot. I think LaPorta could have a very big year this year. Hopefully his injury is nothing too serious and he's back by week 1, week 2 at the latest. We'll take the chance on him. We'll take him there. And we will move on here. We're going to take a look at our roster here just a little bit. Obviously, no quarterback so far. Christian McCaffrey, Chase Brown, Malik Nabers, DeVonta Smith, Sam LaPorta, Garrett Wilson in the flex, DeAndre Swift, and Brian Thomas on the bench. So I really like this team so far. Obviously, in a 10-team league, the player pool is a lot bigger because there's less managers, less players being drafted. So things are, a lot. Your roster looks very good. Everybody's roster looks very good, and it could come down to those onesie positions, tight end and quarterback. Usually in a 10-team league, I do like to get one of the elite quarterbacks or one of the elite tight ends. It just didn't really fall to me in this draft, so I'm more so focusing on depth and trying to capitalize on those breakouts late in the draft. And so when we're sitting here in the 9th round, the easy pick here would be to take my quarterback, Justin Herbert. Trevor Lawrence may be there next time. We've got our tight end already. We're really just looking for depth. So we come over here to the running back position. J.K. Dobbins is a fine pick. I mean, he's an RB1 right now in Denver. Should get a lot of work. Kyle Monungai could be really good in Chicago, but I already have DeAndre Swift, and I think Swift is going to be the RB1 there in Chicago. And then I get to a guy in Jonathan Brooks, who I really, really like. I've talked about many times over the summer on this channel. So I'm going to go ahead and take Jonathan Brooks after Team 6 went ahead and took Jordan Tyson. We will take Jonathan Brooks and bolster that running back room. Our running back room is now Christian McCaffrey, Chase Brown, DeAndre Swift, and Jonathan Brooks. I really like Brooks being my RB4. I don't have to rely on him to explode right at the start of the season. I can wait a little bit, be patient with him, and hopefully down the stretch he dominates for me. So it comes back to us here in the 10th, and we are going to go ahead and pick up that quarterback, getting Justin Herbert here in the 10th. A round after his ADP, I feel like is a very, very good spot to be in. I also really like Trevor Lawrence here. I've talked about a lot of these late round quarterbacks. Jackson Dart could have a big year. I'm not a big believer in Matt Nagy, so Dart scares me a little bit. Obviously, Stafford has a lot of passing touchdown upside, but we'll go ahead and take Herbert. And we are looking at just one more pick here to finish out our bench. Again, our team is Justin Herbert at the quarterback, McCaffrey and Chase Brown at running back, Malik Nabers and DeVonta Smith at our wide receiver positions, LaPorta as our tight end, Garrett Wilson, DeAndre Swift, Brian Thomas, and Jonathan Brooks. And we will round it out. We're going to look at wide receiver since we only have one on the bench here. We've got Jacoby Myers also in Jacksonville, so he's out for me. I really like Stephon Diggs. I think he's going to have a big year as the wide receiver 2 in Washington. Quentin Johnston could be a big pick. There's a lot of reports coming out about him looking like a different guy. Keenan Allen was there last year and kind of ate into his workload a little bit. But I think they're going to get more back to Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnston this year, and Johnston could have a big year. But I'm not going to force myself into taking a wide receiver. There's always wide receivers that pop off throughout the season, and you can pick them up off waivers. We'll take another look at the running back room. And we're going to go ahead and actually take a running back. There's a guy that jumped right off the page right away at me, and that is Jordan Mason in Minnesota. I think he's due for a big year. He's going to really be good for the Vikings. And that rounds out the team here in this 10-team draft. I think it's a pretty good team personally, especially my starting lineup. I like my running backs and my receivers. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think. And let me know who you would have rather had at that 107 position. Would you have gone with McCaffrey like I did, or would you have gone somebody else, a receiver maybe? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one. See ya.